The night America trembled. We are bringing you the true story of the most memorable dramatic broadcast in the history of radio. The Mercury Theater's unforgettable dramatization of War of the Worlds. In October of 1938, the Columbia Broadcasting System radio network consisted of 110 affiliated stations in 44 states. There was practically no sizable community in America which could not be reached by CBS broadcasts. Thus, from Maine to California and from Canada to the Gulf, listeners were tuned to the Mercury Theater on that fateful night.
The Columbia Broadcasting System and its affiliates present the Mercury Theater on the air in War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. Ladies and gentlemen, the host of the Mercury Theater.
We know now that in the early years of the 20th century, this world was being watched closely by intelligences greater than man's, and yet as mortal as his own.
What's on tonight, Dad?
What time is it?
Oh, getting on to 8.
CBS, the Mercury Theater, NBC, Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy.
Charlie McCarthy. I like him. Let's listen to that.
We're at the country club. I left the phone number on the telephone pad in case you need it.
We'll get along just fine.
Good night, Millie.
Good night, Mrs. Chandler.
We now take you to the Meridian Room in the Hotel Park Plaza in downtown New York, where you will be entertained by the music of Ramon Raquello and his orchestra.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. From the Meridian Room in the Park Plaza in New York City, we bring you the music of Ramon Raquello and his orchestra. And, with a touch of the Spanish, Ramon Raquello leads off with La Comparsita.
On this particular evening, October 30th, the Crosley Rating Service estimated that 32 million people were listening in on radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, a special announcement from Trenton, New Jersey. It is reported that at 8:50 p.m., a huge flaming object, believed to be a meteorite, fell on a farm in the neighborhood of Grover's Mill, New Jersey, 22 miles from Trenton. The flash in the sky was visible within a radius of several hundred miles, and the noise of the impact was heard as far north as Elizabeth. We have dispatched a special mobile unit to the scene, and will have our commentator, Mr. Phillips, give you a word description as soon as he can reach there from Princeton. In the meantime, we take you to the Hotel Martinet in Brooklyn, where Bobby Millett and his orchestra are offering a program of dance music.
That must be what you said.
No, couldn't be. New Jersey's 500 miles north.
We take you now to Grover's Mill. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Carl Phillips again at the Wilmouth Farm, Grover's Mill, New Jersey. Professor Pearson and myself made the 11 miles from Princeton in just 10 minutes. Well, I hardly know where to begin to paint for you a word picture of the strange scene before my eyes. I guess that's the thing directly in front of me, half buried in a vast pit. Must have struck with terrific force. The ground is covered with splinters of a tree. It must have struck on the way down. Now, what I can see of the object itself doesn't look very much like a meteor, at least not like the meteors I've seen. It looks more like a huge cylinder.
Hello? Oh, hello, Molly. No, I'm just waiting here for Paul and his wife. We're going to church. The radio? No, I haven't. Why? What? Well, just for a minute, perhaps. Thanks, Molly.
The thing is smooth and, as you can see, of cylindrical shape. Just a minute. Just a minute. Something's happening. Ladies and gentlemen, this is terrific. This end of the thing is beginning to flake off.
The top is beginning to rotate like a screw. The thing must be hollow.
Hey, she's a-moving.
Look, the darn thing's unscrewing.
Keep back there. Keep back, I tell you. Hey, maybe there's men in it trying to escape.
It's red hot. They'll burn to a cinder.
Keep back there. Keep those idiots back. She's off. The top's loose. Look out there. Stand back.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the most terrifying thing I have ever witnessed. Wait a minute. Someone's crawling out of the hollow top. Someone or something I can see peering out of that black hole, two luminous discs. Are they eyes? It might be a face. It might be... Good heavens, something's wriggling out of the shadow like a gray snake.
So, the Mercury Theater on the Air blithely proceeds with its dramatization of H.G. Wells' War of the World. The actors, of course, have no way of knowing their performance is sowing the seeds of panic amongst hundreds of thousands who believe they're actually hearing a factual report. But others are beginning to feel its impact. For instance, the officers on duty at the State Police and Fire Dispatcher's Office in Trenton, New Jersey.
State Police. No, sir, we don't know anything about that. Sir, there is no Grover's Mill in New Jersey. There's a Grovesville, but there's no Grover's Mill. I can't help it, sir. What the radio says, there's no such place. State Police. No, ma'am, we don't know anything about that. Well, I can't help that, ma'am. We just don't know anything about it. Well, did I say something about a quiet Sunday evening?
What's going on, anyway?
I don't know. They say it's been announced on the radio. You better check. State Police. No, sir, we have no information on that. Sorry.
We are bringing you an eyewitness account of what's happening on the Wilmot Farm, Grover's Mill, New Jersey. Meanwhile, a piano interlude.
That must be it.
What the hell's he talking about? Grover's Mill. There's no such place.
Maybe it's just a play or something.
All right. Just wait till next year. You'll see.
Oh, next year. Always next year. The Dodgers ain't won a pennant since 1920.
That means they're never going to win another, huh?
Probably.
Boy, I wish I knew all the answers like you do, you know.
Come on, you guys. Why are you two always arguing?
Mike, have you heard? Heard what? About the Martians. A spaceship full of Martians landed near Trenton, 50 miles from here. It's on the radio now.
Martians?
Well, that's what the guy said.
What guy?
It's some guy on the radio, some professor from Princeton. The state cops are out there now.
The captain and two policemen advance with something in their hands. Yes, I can see it now. It's a white handkerchief tied to a pole, a flag of truce. If those creatures know what that means, what anything means... Wait, something's happening.
A humped shape is rising out of the pit. I can make out a small beam of light against the mirror. What's that? There's a jet of flame springing from that mirror, and it leaps right at the advancing men. It strikes them head on. Good Lord, they're turning into flame. Now the whole field's caught fire. The woods, the barns, the gas tanks of automobiles, it's spreading everywhere. It's coming this way, about 20 yards to my right.
Ladies and gentlemen, due to circumstances beyond our control, we are unable to continue the broadcast from Grover's Mill. Evidently, there is some difficulty with our field transmission. However, we will return you to that spot at the earliest opportunity.
Well, come on.
In the meantime...
Come on, we gotta get down there fast. I got a car.
Down where?
Down at Grover's Mills.
Well, where's Grover's Mill?
Somewhere near Trenton, I think.
Oh, now, wait a minute, fellas. We don't know what this is all about.
Who don't know? It's like I told you. It's the Nazis.
The guy on the radio said it was monsters for Mars.
It's Nazi air raids. Come on. We gotta... Hey, you guys, wait for me.
Speak up. Anybody interested in poker anymore?
This is important. Listen.
At least 40 people, including 6 state troopers, lie dead in a field east of Grover's Mill. Their bodies burned and distorted beyond all possible recognition. Ladies and gentlemen, the next voice you hear will be that of Brigadier General Montgomery Smith, commander of the state militia at Trenton, New Jersey.
Trenton, that's where my family lives.
Listen.
I have been requested by the governor of New Jersey to place the counties of Mercer and Middlesex as far west as Princeton and east to Jamesburg under martial law. 4 companies of state militia are proceeding from Trenton to Grover's Mill and will aid in the evacuation of homes within the range of military operations. Thank you.
You have just been listening
Charlie,
to
you hear that? They're calling out the Army.
Hey, my folks, I think I better call.
Now, take it easy, Buzz. They're all right.
How do you know?
Something moving. Solid metal. Kind of a shield-like affair rising up out of the cylinder. It's standing on legs, actually rearing up on a sort of metal framework. Now it's reaching above the trees and the searchlights are on it. Hold on.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a grave announcement to make. Incredible as it may seem, both the observations of science and the evidence of our own eyes lead to the inescapable assumption that those strange beings who landed in the Jersey farmlands tonight are the vanguard of an invading army from the planet Mars.
October 30th, 1938, the night America trembled. The impact of the Mercury Theater's broadcast of H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds is as devastating as it is unexpected. The Columbia Broadcasting System and its affiliated stations, the newspapers, the police and fire departments of the whole nation, all are being deluged by a Niagara of calls from frenzied listeners who believe the radio drama to be the real thing.
Army bombing plane V-843 off Bayonne, New Jersey. Lieutenant Boat commanding 8 bombers reporting to Commander Fairfax, Langham Field. This is Boat reporting to Commander Fairfax, Langham Field. Enemy tripod machines now in sight, reinforced by 3 machines from the Morristown cylinder, 6 altogether. 1 machine partially crippled, believed hit by shells from Army gun and Watchung Mountains. Guns now appear silent. A heavy black fog hanging close to the earth of extreme
You want me to?
Yes, listen, this thing's gotten out of hand. The switchboard downstairs is flooded with calls. People who think it's the real McCoy.
You're kidding.
I wish I were. It's an awful mess.
Well, take care. It was clearly announced as a play.
Well, I know that, but they don't.
Well, what do you want me to do?
Can't you make some sort of an announcement? Tell them it's just a dramatization.
Well, it's 3 minutes to the break. We'll tell them that.
Well, do that, please. The switchboard operator's about ready to go out of their minds.
Plane circling, ready to strike. 1,000 yards and we'll be over the first. 800 yards. 600. 400. 200. There they go. The giant arm raised. Green flash. They're spraying us with flame. 2,000 feet. Engines are giving out. No chance to release bombs. Only one thing left. Drop on them, plane and all. We're diving on the first one. The engine's gone. 8.
This is Bayonne, New Jersey, calling Langham Field. This is Bayonne, New Jersey, calling Langham Field. Come in, please. Come in, please.
This is Langham Field. Go ahead.
8 Army bombers in engagement with enemy tripod machines over Jersey Flats.
Trenton, New Jersey, operator. How many times do I have to tell you?
Will you please hurry?
What do you mean you can't do it? You gotta get through.
Heavy black smoke in the direction.
The circuits are busy.
Come on, I gotta call home too.
Speaking from the roof of the Broadcasting Building, New York City. The bells you hear are ringing to warn people to evacuate the city as the Martians approach. Estimate that in the last 2 hours, 3 million people have moved out along the roads to the north. Hutchison River Parkway still kept open for motor traffic. Avoid bridges to Long Island, hopelessly jammed. All communication with Jersey Shore closed 10 minutes ago. No more defenses. Our Army wiped out. Artillery, Air Force, everything wiped out. This may be the last broadcast. We'll stay here to the end.
Oh, Jane, it's the end of the world. We're all going to die. I just heard it on the radio.
Give me a ticket. Anywhere. As far as this will take me. And hurry. The Martians are coming.
Black smoke drifting over the city. People in the streets see it now. They're running towards the East River. Thousands of them dropping in like rats. Now the smoke's spreading faster. It's reached Times Square. They're falling like flies. Now the smoke is crossing 6th Avenue, 5th Avenue. It's 100 yards away. 50 feet.
What on earth's the matter with you?
The babies, the monsters! The monsters are going to kill us!
Now, monsters, what monsters? What are you
The radio!
Radio?
answer must be dead.
There is no invasion. It's just a radio play.
Engine Company 5 and Chemical 3 to Somerset and Ward.
Where's Grover's Mills?
What?
We come to volunteer.
Volunteer?
Yeah, the Nazi war place where they land.
Oh,
the Martians.
No,
Somerset and Ward.
There are
Attention
no
all
Martians.
units.
There are no
Attention all
Nazis.
units.
It's just a radio
There's no
play. Now go
invasion
home.
from Mars. Repeat.
A radio
There's
play.
no
That's
invasion
all. Now
from
beat it.
Mars.
Get out of here.
Invasion.
But, Chief, it was clearly announced as a play. Here's a publicity release in tonight's paper. Now, listen. When the Mercury Theater on the Air broadcasts over the Columbia Network at 8 p.m., they will do H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds. This is one of the first shows about Martians. It tells how the octopus-like creatures from Mars lay waste the Earth until there are only a few humans left. Yes, that's absolutely right. Every paper. Well, how clear can you make a thing? All they had to do was check. Nobody in his right mind would believe it.
Here for Rudy Valley for 3 days. I'm getting hungry.
Hungry?
Yeah.
Well, I'm the one that's hungry. I tell you, Charlie, I'm so starved, I could almost...
Don't look at me that way. No, I'm just skinning Welles.There. I don't
What's the matter?
What's going on here? It's a meteor, sir.
No, it's the Martians. They're coming after us. They're destroying the world.
Martians? What are you talking about?
It's on the radio.
We've been listening to the radio ever since you left. We haven't heard anything about it. I don't get it. It ought to be on every station, I'm
Turn to CBS.
This is your host, ladies and gentlemen.
Out of character to assure you that the War of the Worlds has no further significance than as the holiday offering it was intended to be. The Mercury Theater's own radio version of dressing up in a sheet and jumping out of a bush and saying boo.
Starting now, we couldn't soap all your windows and steal all your garden gates by tomorrow night, so we did the next best thing. We annihilated the world before your very ears and utterly destroyed the Columbia Broadcasting System. Now, you will be relieved, I hope, to learn that we didn't mean it, and that both institutions are still open for business.
So, goodbye, everybody, and remember, please, for the next day or so, the terrible lesson you learned tonight. That grinning, glowing, globular invader of your living room is an inhabitant of the pumpkin patch. And if your doorbell rings and nobody's there, that was no Martian. It's Halloween.
Why didn't you check the other stations?
Well, we didn't have time, sir. We were too busy listening.
You mean you really believed it? Oh, you kids have got a lot to learn.
Yeah, I guess you're right.